Hiya folks, and welcome to another restoration video on these little Matchbox Lesney cars. This one we got here is a Mark II Ford Cortina 2-door. Right, well, as you can see, it is some sort of gold colour originally. It looks to be very play worn. In other words, the edges are quite rounded on it. This does have a 2-door side opening, which is very stiff, and it's a right-hand drive, so it is a UK model by the looks of it. As you can probably see there, made in England by Lesney, Matchbox series number, I think it's 25, looking at that from my limited visibility behind the camera. And the axles there, as you can probably see, are quite worn, although this does tend to have sidewards turning wheels. Now I find it very strange as to why they would do this, because it's not as if you can steer it in any way, but some of them had little switches on the side of them where you could sort of push the switch from side to side, but this one obviously doesn't have that. The vehicle is held onto the base with one post there, as you can probably see, so we're going to have to obviously drill that out. And for some reason they tended to put these little towing hooks on them, which basically, to my way of thinking, I don't recall anyone ever using it to tow anything. Not that it would hold or lock on in any way, but a lot of people do take them off. But I will leave this on because I'm going to take it back to obviously original condition. And as you can see, if I turn it around there, passenger door opens as well. The inside, as with any car that doesn't have any windows on the side and opening doors, tends to be very filthy inside, so there doesn't seem to be any damage, I don't think. Although I did notice that when I looked at the steering wheel, it tended to have some breaks in the bottom of it, so whether or not someone's tried to stick something in there or whether it's just a manufacturing flaw, I'm not too sure. So anyway, I'm going to try and possibly look at the original colour with the standard colours that I've got from the Tamiya range. As I say, this is a sort of a goldy looking one, so I'll see what I've got and we'll take it from there. Right, okay then, so let's drill this rear rivet out. I'm using a 4.5 drill here just to take the head off. A bit more on that. Okay, so that's that. That's the head gone now. So I'm hoping just to hook this underneath and maybe just pull this up. There we go. Got nice and easy, that one. Getting a little wiggle. And here we can see the inside now. Everything's looking okay there. The little plastic centre membrane there is obviously okay, so I'm happy with that. Turn it over. The wheels are going to need to be ground off at the end if I do remove the wheels. And as you can see there, just flip that up. The inside there, which is pretty dirty to be honest with you, but it's all there, and I just want to clean out to make that back to A1 condition. Got to be careful not to put these in too hot of water when you actually do clean these, because they can actually melt and bend and distort, so one thing to be careful of. The inside glass is held on by a rivet on the roof there, as you can probably see, so I'm going to have to drill that out, and you have to take care when you're actually doing that, because you can drill through the roof, which I don't really want to do, so you've got to go very careful there. A little bit more. I'm not putting any pressure on this whatsoever. There we go. go. Just see how gently that came out then, look. There we go, perfect. Now again, this glass is very fragile. There you go, just had to open that door there. And I think it has got a little crack in it, as you can probably see there. So I've got to be very, very careful with that. And it's very, very brittle. And one of the things that I did notice, as I said to you at the beginning there, that the roof pillow is actually missing on that side. And if I do turn it round, it's actually cracked on this side as well. So I'm going to need to do a repair. The roof in itself is actually in the right orientation by the looks of it. Looking down the height of it there. So I'm going to need to put a little piece in there and also strengthen up this side here. Right, so here's our car ready to be paint stripped, but before we do that, I've got these two Tamiya Golds, as you can see there. So I do believe that the car is a sort of a in between both of them, to be honest with you. So what I may do is just mix a bit up and touch it on the roof and see if we can come up with something pretty similar. If not, I would have gone with either one of these, to be honest with you. Both of these to me are acceptable. So I'm just going to have a little play about with some colour first of all, before we actually take the paint off. Looks very, very goldy compared to that. Definitely not the right colour, let's put it that way. I'll tell you what, I'm going to just try this colour on its own, because that does... Oh. Yeah. No, it's a lot lighter, isn't it? It's a lot lighter. I think I actually like this gold, to be honest with you, as opposed to the darker yellow. So I may just go with this gold. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go with that gold. I think that's going to look nice in that colour. Right, okay, let's get it stripped. Right, so let's get the old paint stripper onto our painted parts and get rid of this 50-year-old paint. Right, so we've got these little wheels on here now with these little axles. I've got to try and separate these. There's many ways to do this. I'm just going to get hold of them. You normally find that one wheel has got a big domed bit. When you look on the other side, it's a flatter dome, so to speak. So that's the one I'm going to be attacking. And all I'm going to be doing is pushing on the axle from the back side, because you've obviously got a bit of spare space, and then grabbing hold of the burr, so to speak, and just rotating, not rotating the shaft, I'm rotating the actual pliers themselves, and that should take the small burr off like that, hopefully, and then you should hopefully be able to withdraw the wheel. As you can see there, it's come off a treat. And that way we might still be able to use that. If this axle is able to be cleaned up in the drill, I could reuse this depending if it's pitted or worn or whatever. But I could just pull that out of there now. And as you can see, that wheel is actually stuck on there, look. So basically, I'm going to try and squirt some lubrication on that, because that wheel can't rotate. That's where this is rusted and it's expanded. So by dropping this in a solution of probably some little WD-40 or something like that, I'm going to probably use, and that will hopefully free up, and then I can reuse this, maybe, not sure yet. So again, look at the side. One side's got the bigger bevel on. I can't touch that one. This side's got the smaller bevel on, but this time the one with the smaller bevel on is the wheel that's actually stuck this time. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a penetrating fluid. And what I might have to do is just to hold that bevel there, the bigger bevel, and try and rotate the wheel just to free it up when it's working. The penetrating fluid is now gone through and that wheel is now turning, and I can now push on that, and now I can do exactly what I've done with the other wheel. In other words, turn that burr off until the wheel can pop off. You might find that you might need to hold that one still whilst you rotate that like that. Oh, there we go, that one shot off, didn't it? And then pull that one out like that. There we go. This can now be cleaned up. I'll probably soak this in some cleaning solution first of all and give it a wire brush down. These now can go in the cleaning solution with the other plastics. Right, so we just drop the plastics into a solution of soapy water, and again, I'm not going to be too aggressive with this. No need to be, it should just be surface stuff. And again, this little windscreen shield is a bit fragile. It's not marked at all in any way, I don't think, apart from that crack down the front. There's not a lot I'm going to be able to do about that, so all I'm looking at doing is just agitating it to get the dirt off of it and the grime. And I'll end up giving it a slight polish. Again, you've got to be very careful. You know, how far do you go with restoration? I mean, you can replace all these parts, the windscreen, I would have thought, the wheels, the axles, and before you know it, you haven't got an original car anymore. So if all the parts are there, just because it's got a crack in, shows that it's had a life. Right, okay, so I've cleaned everything off now, and everything's come off pretty much okay. Although the zinc plating itself is very, very tarnished, I will give it a wire wool. But again, I'm not too worried about that because obviously we're going to be priming over the top of that, so a wire wool hopefully shall bring that up. And as you can probably see, the back of it as well there has actually got a number plate there, look, which you can physically see, and also a little filler cap there as well for the fuel. These are little back lights which I may be able to touch in a bit later on as well. Never done that before, but we're going to be giving that a go as well. Turning the car around, but we'll do what we can with it. Got a little rainbow window there, look. Pop, there we go. Right, okay, so I've got this broken pillar there, as you probably know. I'm just going to measure it with a little vernier. So let's just measure how wide that is. And that's coming in at about 1.39 of a millimetre. And I've got this little cotter pin here, or split pin, and let's see what that post measures at. No, that's too big, that one. So we're looking at 139, 152, 153, and let's just double check that. Yeah, about 139. I'm going to go with that little one there, and that's what I'm going to use, hopefully, as the pillar. So I'm going to cut that down. I don't know the length personally, but we'll have a little go. So I'm looking at about that length. Right, well, I'm going to have to mess about with that because it's going to be very tricky for me to film this. And I'll see you once I've actually installed that. Right, well, those of you that are in any doubt that the baking soda and super glue works, that has gone literally rock hard. Absolutely rock hard. And even on there, I don't know if you can see, let me wipe that away, look. That was the bit that was the glue that dropped on there. That is really, really hard. Really hard. I can't even get it off of there, look. And that's in no time, so it really does work. And that now is going to be in there, I would definitely say permanently. And all I've got to do now is get me little files out and shape it, and we'll call that job done. I'm going to put a little blob on the inside there, as you can probably see, that one there. Oh, look what I've done, look. Look what I've done, I've pulled it out, look. Oh dear, I broke the other side. That's how simple and fragile these things are. So bear with me, I'm going to put this in place and then we'll have to do some on this side as well, so bear with me. Right, here's my little set of screws and various different things I need to repair the rivets or the posts on these little cars. I'm opting for this set which I used on the first one. I've got my drill marked out there, as you can probably see, for the right depth. And these are the tiny little rivets which are 1.25 millimeters, and that's where I've actually got them from. I think it was on eBay, so if you want to check out that eBay user, I think you'll find that it is an eBay seller. So here we go, time to drill this little post out. Right, okay, and as you can see, it just wants a fraction sanded off of it. I could drill the post a little bit more, but I'm quite happy with that. That's going to do the job. So I'll take just an edge off of that rivet. Right, so I've sanded the car down now, and as you can probably see, I've done the best of repair I can for my first attempt on these pillars. I've got them both back in there. As you can see, this is the one out of the pin that I made, and I think it's going to be okay. So I'm going to just give this a bit of a wipe down with some wax and grease remover, and then we'll give it a coat of primer. Right, so as you can see, the three things I've got here is my little flat file. I've got the dentist pick there, as you can see, and the rivet there, which, as you can probably see, has got the hole in it. And all I tend to do is just stick the rivet on the end of the dentist tool like that, and that means that I've got some purchase to try and hold it now when I sand it down. As you can see, I've just got to steady it there, and just by moving it backwards and forwards like that, I'm able to sand it down under control without the fear of the rivet flying out of my hands across the room. So that's all I'm going to do there, and take it down just a little bit because it didn't need too much. And as you can see, everything's sanding down under full control there, and I think that's going to be enough. And now, as you can see, the rivet goes fully back, and that didn't take long at all. Happy days. Right, as you know, we've got our Tamiya Fine Surface Primer in white in this case, and I'm just going to give it a few coats of primer. I've got the doors open, as you can probably see, on the car. There we go, nicely primed now. We're just going to let this go off before we give it its top coat of gold. Right, well, as I said to you before, I've decided to go for the X31 Tamiya Titan Gold, I think it's called, and the X20A thinner. So this is a metallic paint anyway, so we're just going to give it a stir up. Like that. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 drops of that in there. And I'm also going to put 20 drops of the thinner in as well, so it's a 1-to-1 mix for me. 1, 2, 3, there we go. Just give that a bit of a stir up. Right, and we just put our little gold paint we've mixed up into our mini airbrush. Right, okay then, so I've got this Mr. Colour Clear GX100 lacquer, and I've also got the Mr. Colour levelling thinner. I'll mix that on a 1-to-1 basis, so 20 drops to that and 20 drops to that, and that's what I've got there. Right, okay, there's the two normal bobbles on the end of the actual axles. If I spin it over now, there's the two we've recreated, and I've put them both on the same side. I think these was on the same side anyway, so some people stagger them. They have the big bobble on one side on the back, and then they change it over to the front, but I've kept them the same. And yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I was going to replate this base, but I think at the end of the day I like a bit of wear on there. I've put some chrome paint on the front grille there, as you can see, and also on the back bumper. The glass I've given a polish with some Solvo Ultrasol, which is aluminium polish. As you can see, there's nothing I can really do about that crack there. I'm not really too worried about it. And again, the rest is all nice and clean. Our body is now dry. And one thing I did notice there, I don't know whether you can see it or not, but you probably can. There's a little divot or a dent on the roof there, which something I didn't notice, but I just carried on anyway. But something I have to look out for next time. The pillars, as you can see, have turned out really nice, and I've basically repaired them now. So all I'm going to do is put it together with our single rivet. As we know, here's our interior, here's our glass. Now, our glass, I'm going to try and drop this in without applying any glue, but I don't know whether or not it's going to work or not. We'll have a look. Right, let's clip back into place there. And I'm not even going to glue that. That clipped in really nicely there, so I'm happy with that. I'll lay in our interior. And I've got the base, which I'm just going to lay in, and that should also clip into place, which it has done. Right, so I'm just going to apply a dab of super glue into the hole. and follow that in pretty smartly like that. And there we go. That's set. As soon as I put that in, I'm well pleased with that. Yeah, look, stuck the fingers together, look. Got to be so careful with this stuff. Right, okay. We'll turn it over and have a look at the finished car, but I'm sure you'd agree that that rivet does look factory as opposed to having a screw in there. So let's turn it over. As you say, I'm not too worried about that mottling on the base. It shows that the car has had some wear at the end of the day, and it is a usable classic. I've not done it to make it look like brand new, because after all it is about 50 years old, so what's the point in making it look new? It just wanted to be repaired and have a fresh coat of paint, because the repairs warranted it, having the broken posts. Right, let's turn it around and have a closer look. Right, there we go there. There's our little Ford Cortina Mark II. I didn't bother putting the little bits of brake light and indicators on the rear because I don't think it really warranted it, to be honest with you. The front grille, as you can see, is lovely and silver. That did take a nice coat of that silver chrome paint, and I think you'll see that the finish is actually very, very good compared to what it was. And again, this is a very small car, this one, and I'm very pleased with the way that it's turned out. I know I did have a little dent in the roof still, which I should have actually noticed, but I'm just a beginner at doing this, and it's something that I did overlook. The axles I reused again, and the wheels look absolutely perfect. I didn't have to clean them or give them a wash or anything, a black wash. I just cleaned them up in soap and water, as I did with the interior. The glass, as you know, has got a little bit of mark on the front windscreen, but there's nothing I could really do about that. The main thing that was wrong with this car, as you probably remember, was the front pillar on the driver's side was broken and missing, and the one on the left hand side was actually snapped at the top where it meets the roof, and I actually accidentally broke it. But I'm sure you'll agree there that I've affected the repair pretty well. It's very small and minute, and one side of it, on the driver's side, on the right hand side, I've replaced the metal with a split pin that I cut down, and I think you will agree that it's actually gone in a treat. Well, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my second restoration on these little Matchbox Lesney cars. This is a little Mark II Ford Cortina. Anyway, don't forget to look out for our next one coming up very shortly, and I've actually created a playlist for these cars called Retro Diecast, so hope you'll look out for them. Anyway, thanks very much, and see you in the next video, and until then, bye for now.